So hello and welcome. This is part 3 of the Network Programmability Lab. Couple of announcements before we start is most likely there will be no stream for the next 2 weeks. And the reason why is that I will be at Cisco Live Barcelona and then I will spend 1 more week there, and I don't want to rely on hotel Wi-Fi. I think it will just, it just will not work. However, the idea that I have in mind is if all will work out the way I am planning to, I hope that there will be some special during Cisco Live. Most likely though it will not be in like US friendly time zone, so maybe like 8 AM EST time, so it's not really like convenient time for people on the West Coast. But people from Europe and people from East Coast probably would be able to see it. I really hope that I will make it work, and we will have, if we do, then we will have some kind of Cisco Live special stream. But there will be most likely no stream on Sunday, so it will be during some work day. We'll see. Stay tuned, make sure you follow me on Twitch and on Twitter, so if there will be something, you will be the first to know. But if you don't follow, you obviously will not know. Because most likely I will not be able to announce it like in advance. It will be like kind of spontaneous. Okay, let's start. First let me explain some thoughts let me tell you some thoughts that I had about this side node. First, the last time we had an issue that we didn't put a trailing slash and in the NetBox API, and then it resulted in Nginx doing redirect to the version v slash, and instead of post, it basically after redirect it converted it to get, and then we were keep getting 200 OKs, but our post didn't work, so we couldn't add anything there. That was a problem, and at first I thought, okay, let me raise an issue with NetBox about it. But then I started thinking, like, okay, wait, yes, it can be solved in NetBox, like you can add in Django additional paths so that it handles both slash and non-slash version. But you can also change because we were using Docker, and we were using Docker Compose from let me see, from this guy, I think, NetBox Docker, blah blah blah, and we were using his Docker Compose file, which contained NetBox, Nginx, and Postgres. So what we can actually do, we can go here to Nginx, and in Nginx config, let me see where it is, in Nginx, so here in Docker, Nginx conf, we should be able to add a rewrite for the URL, so that whenever you put a URL without slash, it will put additional slash at the end. And I think it will actually work fine. That was my idea there. Probably it even makes sense to do it now. So yeah, you have just rewrite in Nginx, it does it on, and then it does it, and then Django C is always passed with the trailing slash, so there is no problem. That can be done here in nginx.conf, and then we don't need to touch really the NetBox itself. Okay, so this was about the side note that I had on the right from previous recording. So For today, what I want to do, I want to add the prefixes. To NetBox, and then I want to get them automatically from using Python. And then ideally I want to add a Jinja templating where basically I'm getting those prefixes from the NetBox, and then I'm putting some IP addresses directly into my templates, and then I can configure devices. I am not sure we will be able to do all of that today, because it seems like whenever you start playing with APIs and stuff, it really starts taking a lot of time. But you know, this is what I'm planning to do. So let me go to the CLI here of my GNet3 server. Oh, and by the way, I did some additional changes here. If you were watching on my previous streams, there was here the Ubuntu controller node, which never worked. I got some help from a guy in Russian community. Big thank you, FD, that was his nickname. And then I also got some additional help from on GNet3 repo, and basically we were able to make it work with cloud images. So right now my Ubuntu controller is actually up and working, and just for the test I installed Apache on it. And then I also added here GNet3 provides another template, another appliance for like browser. In this case it's Firefox. So I just put it in the topology, and this is a client. So let me show you. So this is Ubuntu controller, this is the server on the left. So if I show an IP address, the IP address here is 192.168.122.254. Now if I go to Firefox, and basically it's just another VM. If I go to this IP, and let me just reload it because I just did it before the stream. And let me see. I'm not sure I will be okay. I will have to copy with like right click. Yeah, so it actually goes to Apache webpage. So I'm actually now I have a like host with a browser and basically Ubuntu server there, which is good. But for now we will not use it. We will focus on this part where we have this. We will have this NetBox host. So in order to run it, let me go to that machine, and I will have to go to repo and NetBox Docker, cd NetBox Docker, and let's see, Docker ps -a. Okay, there was a couple of images that downloaded. Okay, so I think I can do Docker compose up. Okay. No. I need to do with -d so it runs in the background. Let me quickly fix that. So -d. Okay. So if everything goes well, which never does, I should be able to go to NetBox / and it doesn't work. Okay, let me see what Docker ps says. Okay, look, I should be able to go to the port. Okay, this seems to work. And I have my sites here, and those I configured using my Python script. Let me show you. Yeah, let me actually go quickly through it. So I had here the inventory YAML, where I added my sites, and then I added like name of the site, and then there are like parameters of devices. for some reason I don't have here that site in Reykjavik. Did I delete it? I don't know what I did there. Because we were supposed to have more sites actually. Yeah, and okay, that's fine. So here I wrote some code where I basically add sites and I am able to add devices to the sites. And if I go here to devices, I am able to see these devices that I basically took from this inventory YAML right here, and I just added them here to the IPAM. Awesome. So I think it's time to like start adding the like some prefixes. So let me go here to the GNet3, and guys, put in the chat what kind of like subnets do you think to use for our like networks. I can tell you that I cannot use 10.0.0/8 because I use 10.0.0/8 in my network. So if you know, if I do this, I will not be able to access some resources that I have on my like real network. So cannot use 10.0.0/8. So I can use either like 192.168.0.0/16, or I can use 172.16/12. And remember that we will have like a lot of sites. Well, not a lot of, like maybe 4 or 5. I don't know how many yet. So we should think of some addressing scheme that we will use. And I didn't really give it much a thought. Probably we will be using 172 something. I think it makes a little bit more sense because this management subnet is already occupied at /24. So, well, I can actually use that as well, I think. Like, just leave it as a management. Really not a big deal. So, yeah, guys, what do you think? Should we use 172.16/12 or 192.168.0.0/16? What do you prefer? Okay, let's have. I don't see any opinions in the chat. That's fine. Probably we will have like 172.16, I think. And then for like every site we will have like 172.16 and then slash. Yeah, so like for every site we'll have like 16 and then 17, 18, so up to 32, so we will have less than 16 sites, that's for sure. I think that addressing scheme makes sense. So let me duplicate this and I will put it somewhere here. So the whole network is 172.16/12, and this HQ one will be the whole network. HQ will be 172.16.00/16, and now for the host networks we will use some /24. So let's say this was VLAN 10 and then that was VLAN 20. So in this case let's put here, I don't know, this will be 10/24. And then everything starting from like 0 to like VLAN 10 you can use for like /30 and /29s, I think. Yeah, I think it will work out fine. So let's say this one is 10.0 and this one is 20.0 and this is VLAN 10, this is VLAN 20. Okay, I think for now we were good to start. So let's see. Okay, so IPAMs, there are IP addresses, there are prefixes. Let me open a couple of links here. Okay, so let's add some prefixes. Remember guys, this is like the second time I'm actually using this, so so our main will be /12 status active. We have global role whatever. It doesn't refer to any VLAN. Okay, create and add another. Created prefix. Okay, so let me cancel this. Can I create like sub? I mean, I want to create like sub. Okay, child prefixes. Let's see. Let me just add one manually again. So let's say 172.16.00/16 status active. Or you know what guys, let's have like 254 or 255. Yeah, let's have 255. This will be for like no, it should be 0 here, and we have global role. I'm not sure why I cannot like add here's a this is a child, but okay, we'll take a look on that later. So this prefix 16 will be for San Jose without any VLAN. Okay, I just create this. Okay. Oh, so it does this automatically. That's very cool. So I created a prefix which was a subset, and now it's showing me that this is a like subset and it's for like San Jose. And let's actually let's just continue. Okay, so we have this 0/16. Now let's have 255.0, which will be our like interlink stuff. So interconnects and so on. So let me add one. This will be 172.16.00. No, 254.0/24. We have global role whatever. There will be no VLAN associated with this. It will be as part of San Jose, but let me just create it now. Okay. So okay, so it actually doesn't inherit like that it's site San Jose. I thought it will inherit it. Okay, it's not a big deal. Let me put it manually then. Okay. And oh, I want to obviously have a description. So this is a pool for interconnects. Okay, I don't like that I go back and it's always in collapse mode. I would prefer it to like have like a cookie or something. So so that whenever like I go back and I already clicked on expand, so it's expanded. So okay, this is a pool for interconnects. Now we will have a pool for hosts for VLAN 10 and 20. So let me add another prefix. 172.16, let's say 10.0/24. Active URF global role. Okay, this was actually supposed to be part of VLAN. But I cannot add it here. Oh, and is all IP addresses within the prefix are considered usable. Okay. Whew. Okay, let's say create and add another, and let's have 172.16.20.0/24. This is also San Jose. This is a pool. This is a pool for all four hosts in VLAN 20. Okay. This is a pool for VLAN 10. Okay, so I also will need to add VLANs. Let me add VLANs here. Add VLAN 10. Let's say floor 1. Floor 1 yellow. Oh no, this will be in description. This is just for a name. Let's say green. Or just, yeah, or no, let's have blue. Let's have blue. Description will be floor 1 blue area. Okay, let's create another. So 20, and this one will be red. Site San Jose, or whatever. Description will be floor 1 and let's say yellow area. Create. Okay. So let's now assign my prefixes to those. So this one will be pool for hosts in VLAN 10, pool for hosts in VLAN 20. I'm thinking how to do it the best way. Yes, so I need to assign a VLAN here. Edit prefix VLAN 10. Okay, and then this one will be VLAN 20. Okay. Okay. So I have my prefixes. Gosh, this drives me crazy that whenever I go to that page, it's not expanded. Okay, so I have these two VLANs there, and this one will be interconnect. So for now, let's just deal with those two VLANs. I think we already have something that we can use. So I'm thinking like how would you query the pool? But let's see, let's try to add IP addresses. And let's say I want to add an IP address. Not IP inside. this seems to be like this is IP addresses for devices. Let's check their docs. NetBox docs. So like for network devices when you want to assign on the interface. Let me see what they say. So IPAM, and then I'm looking for IP addresses. IP address comprises single IP address and subnet mask. Mask should be matched exactly like prefixes. An IP address can optionally be assigned to VRF or will appear in the global table. IP addresses are automatically organized under parent prefixes. Each IP address can also be assigned a short description. An IP address can be assigned to a device interface. An interface may have multiple IP addresses assigned for it. One IP address can be assigned as a network IP for exactly one other IP address. Okay. I didn't understood much, but it seems like the only thing I'm doing here is just I'm assigning IP address for interfaces. So let me go back to the diagram. Well, to my GNet3 here, and let's say for these two switches we will have like .1, and we will need to create SVIs. I'm not sure how it will work out. So we'll need to, technically we'll have to go to switches and configure interfaces in the proper VLAN, and then we create SVI so that we have proper like routed access. I don't have an answer to this yet. So like how do we translate this information that I have in IPAM to like code directly? Not yet sure, but let's just start and see like where it takes us. So I have my switch 1. I don't get why here I cannot select like a device. Maybe it's something different. What is circuit? Provider, no, this seems to be for WAN. Secrets, providers, virtualization, IPAM. It seems like a proper place. Like I add an IP address and I say 172.100.1/24. Sorry, no. 10.1/24. And I would like to like select the device here. VRF global description, IP address of SVI 10 on. Let's change it a little bit. Let's say SJ, and what were our name of devices? Let's say SJ SW1 SVI 30. SVI 10. Okay. Well, this does not really coincide like to not. I will need some help here, guys. Like, how do we query this information later? Like, I would want to say like, here is a device, here is what I'm looking for, give me an IP address. but based on this I will not be able to do it. Like, I don't have here any attachment to the device, and this is what bothers me. Am I just do I misunderstand something, or because this part, I mean, we don't care about this node for now. Okay, for now I will create, but I lost understanding like how this will map to each other. Let me also see this prefix VLAN rows. What is that? Add role, whatever. Create. No, this doesn't seems to be relevant. So here, let me go back. Okay, so I have this IP address. I'm still thinking like, okay, I have it here, how do I use it? Based on description, so I extract it from the description. This seems to be like regex parsing now. Let's see what prefixes tab says now. Okay, so I see that this IP address now is part of the pool. And assign, maybe you need to create a device and assign IP that you create. That's actually a good idea. Let's go to switch one. Let's see. So yeah, I think you are right, FM Unlimited. I think you are very right here. So let me see. So I went to the device here, switch one. I add an interface. This will be what? Well, I think this will be a virtual interface, because this will be like SVI. Numeric ranges are supported for bulk range. An example is P0. I think this will be like VLAN 10. Enabled MTU is whatever, MAC address, whatever. Description, say floor 1 blue area as well. Wait, I didn't assign the IP address though. So I created an interface. Oh, okay, now I can add an IP address here. No. Okay. This part is a little bit confusing here in the GUI, so I mean it's fine once you like just get used to it, but at first like I got lost here. So I created an interface. Here on the right there is a small button, add IP address. So you click on it and it gives you a space similar to what we had before, except there is this new section, interface assignment, and I need to click on assign IP address, and now I go and say the same IP address that I had. I search, I click on this, And now I can assign it here. Nice. Awesome. This works much better. So now I have this interface with assigned IP address. That's pretty awesome. Let's do the same thing for switch 2. Okay, let's do this for switch 2. So what do? We go to we add an interface, we say it's virtual, it's VLAN 20. This description will be floor 1 yellow area, MTU, MAC address, virtual. Okay. This would be really cool if IP address was like part of this interface here. Like really, I would expect it to be. So yeah, you create an interface and you already have an interface. You have like a GUI to assign an IP address. I mean, this is nothing like. This is nothing. You know, something. It's not something I cannot handle. Like, I will do it with additional clicks. And you know, yeah, I still think this is actually really awesome what they did here. Yeah, so let me add a new IP address. And I forgot if I created that IP address or I didn't. No, I didn't create, so I create a new one. Active row, whatever, description. This will be SJ switch 2 SVI 20. Okay, make primary IP address, done, boom. Okay, so now I have VLAN 20 here as well. That's pretty cool. So now I think I will add also an interface, because I also need a physical interface which I'm going to assign to VLAN. Let's see how this works. So the interface, let me see on the diagram. This will be gigabit 3.0 on gigabit. And also a good thing to like good thought is like, should I put a full name like it's in Cisco, or I can get away with short names? And I think I will need to have a full name. And meanwhile, this is all like I'm doing that. Let me start my devices here, at least some of them. Switch 1, switch 2. So, okay. Let's say it's gigabit Ethernet. I will have to get it directly from the device to make sure I didn't screw it up. Let's see. It's taking some time. And this one already finished. Oh, these console messages are so slow. This is not a good sign. Okay. Okay. Whew. So this part is good. There should be management IP address. which it is on gigabit 00, and I need this one, gigabit 30, on both of them. Okay. So gigabit 30, this will be physical one. So what, it's like, I think it's Ethernet fixed, and this will be 1 gig E enabled parent lock. Okay. So ideally I would want to add the VLAN to this as well. Will it allow me to? Okay, it allows me to connect. This is interesting. So I can connect to another. Now, wow, this is very awesome. Huh. I can make a connection here as well. But what I really want, I want to add a VLAN. And I don't think I can jig on what I see. Let me go to VLANs and let's see if I can assign VLANs somehow to the interface. Stats, 2 VLANs, no, not there. So I need to go to, let's see, this one. I want to edit it. No. Site, group, role. See, IPAM assign, no, NetBox assign interfaces to the VLAN. Okay. It would be nice to be able to assign VLANs. This would be then have to be able to assign native untagged VLANs along with allowed tagged. This could get complicated, but is possible. What I have done to get around this is to create new VLAN interfaces prefixed by the physical port and as a type author. This allows me to see which port VLAN is attached to. Maybe one day we can link a VLAN to a port and I will then modify that in the database. Okay. Okay, there is some work in progress in September. Assign VLAN to interfaces closed. I'm actually surprised that this is still an issue. Added this to 2.3 milestone. NetBox doesn't assign VLAN to devices. Rather, VLANs are associated with individual interfaces coming in 2.3. Okay. Let's see what is the release. What is the current release? Okay, so it's still not there. How can I see? How can I see what version I'm using right now? Maybe in profile. Password, user key, recent activity, no. Admin. Okay, this is just Django admin. Oh, okay, so it's 2.2.8. Right. Okay, so this is actually interesting. It seems like probably just, you know, what I'm thinking, what people behind the product are thinking, they have like different use cases in mind. For like enterprise, I would, you know, I can easily see like how assigning VLANs to interfaces is very important. Probably in their use case it was not so important that this issue is like for 1.5 years is opened. But that's fair, that's open source, so you know, I don't blame them for it. It's just yeah, I know I see this difference in like use cases and priorities. Let me just double check that I'm looking on the right thing. Okay, issue 150, add this to milestone 2.3. NetBox 2.3 release, let's see if they have any kind of... Yeah, so the last release was 2.2.8, which we are using. Okay. Well, I'm excited to see that it's coming soon. So, but for now, you see, guys, that, you know, probably this is something that to keep in mind, that you cannot assign VLANs to interfaces, which seems like a little bit strange, let's put it that way. But I'm going to do what they did there, where you put yeah, let me just think for a minute. So one of the guys told that put a dot and put a VLAN number, and I'm now thinking, okay, how do I get this information dynamically on the device? And I pull information about VLANs, I create VLANs, I create SVIs. Okay, so I have, okay, let me go back for a second. So let's take switch 1. I have one interface which is VLAN 10. No, let me actually, sorry guys, let's see switch 2 actually. This one. So this guy has VLAN 20 as an interface, to which I have assigned an IP address. So this part I will be able to loop through interfaces and find if there is like VLAN in the name or something like this, then I'm creating a VLAN with this IP address. Now, how do I map the interface, gigabit 3 in this case, that it should be okay? I think I'm going to do it the same way they did, like somebody proposed. So I'm going to have this gigabit 3.0 I don't really like this solution, but that's the only thing we can do right now. Which this will be virtual, it's enabled and so on, and that's pretty much it. So now when I have only one interface, that will be pain. Like, then how do you distinguish trunk from access ports, for example? Is this a trunk port with the one VLAN, or this is access port with obviously one VLAN? Not cool. Okay, I will leave this for now like this. Okay, let's go back to another switch one here, and let's add a new interface the same way. Gigabit 3.0 description. We can also do it by description, but I hate regex parsing. Let's say this will be SJ, no, this will be floor, no, SJ switch. No, I will just leave it without any description. This will be 1 gigabit Ethernet enabled. Okay, create and add more. Here I'm creating VLAN 10. This will be virtual, enabled, done. Okay, create. Okay. Did I have any description for that another one? No, I didn't. Okay, that's fine. So now I want to have a way to pull this data from the IPAM and create like a Jinja template for the switch based on this data. Let's add the additional thing. Let's add that description. For now, this will be access. This is very bad description, but let's leave it for now. I really want to do something more, something not to spend on this too much time and then everyone is bored. So for now I will just use it like this. So let's have here description. This will be also access. So I can like parse description and say, okay, if it's access, then I'm looking for another interface which contains a dot, and then after the dot will be like a VLAN number. Or maybe I should have put it here in this description. Yeah, I think I should put it here, like description of the sub interface, and then I look into it and say, okay, if yeah, I think I have some idea. So this one will be disabled for now, and this one will have this description access. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing for switch 2. I am going to say that this is disabled. And here description is access. So now I can like parse through every interface. If I see that it's containing a dot and it says like access or let's say trunk, I can now take this VLAN number and have it like as part of config. Yeah, I like this much more. Let's do one additional thing. I want to create additional interface here. Let's say here between switch 1 and CSR 1. Just, you know, just that you guys, we have like one more interface. And maybe loopbacks as well. Let's say, yeah, we'll have like loopbacks as well. Let's say for loopbacks I will have I will have 255 network for loopbacks, and then for interconnects I will have 254. Yeah, this is what I will have. So here is my IPAM prefixes. Here I will have here a prefix expand. So this one, this is pull for interconnects. This will, oh, this actually, it's true. For the loopbacks I will have 172.16.255.0/24, and I will have loopback/32 at the end. So this is a site San Jose. Tenant group is a pool. IP address within this prefix are considered to be usable. Okay. Create. Awesome. And I didn't create any description, so let me fix that. Pool for loopbacks. Okay. Now let's go to switch 1 for now. I'm adding a loopback. Can I add a loopback here? Nope. I don't see here a loopback. That's fine. Okay, so this will be like loopback 0. Description, no description. Create. Now I am going to add an IP address to this loopback. Add an IP address 172.16.255.1/32. Status active for all loopback. BRF global, description none. Make this primary IP. Okay. Create. Okay, so now I have a loopback with IP address. Awesome. And let's just do one additional one for interconnect, at least one. So between switch 1 and CSR 1. And that subnet will be 172.16. I think I will have to start putting it on the screen because otherwise I will forget. So there will be a bunch of /30. So say /30. And this one between switch 2 and CSR2 will be 254, let's say 4, and this one will be .0. No, I'm sorry guys, there is one here bigger subnet. I will need to start from there, this one, because here is more than 2. So here I will need /29, 29. So this will be 0. So this reserves 8 IP addresses. And now I can start from here, from 8, and let's say here will be 12. Okay, this I like much better. And then there will be diagonal ones as well, but for now I don't care about it yet. So at least let's add this one, 254.8/30, and then we will jump back to the code and we will start like programming this. Because I cannot spend in GUI more than like 40 minutes. Too boring. So it's no network programmability, right? So let me add this one. So this will be gigabit. This will be gigabit 1.1. So let me copy this. Add interface. Gigabit 1.1. Do it space there. This will be form factor 1GE. MAC address. Blah blah blah. Let's say 2 what is our device name? I forgot. Device is SJR1 to SJR1, and let's put port to SJ. No, I will not put a port, and the reason why I don't want to put a port is you can add it there, you know, there are those connection thingy where you can connect ports. We need to use that. We shouldn't put this like static one, because then I will have to change this info in 2 places when I want to like unplug it. So I will just leave it as like this. Okay, I create it, and I also need to add an IP address for this. Add an IP address. So this will be 172.16.254. We said that this will be /8, and let's say this will be /30. I will also have to add a pool for this. Interface gigabit 1.1, my primary IP. Okay, all good. It's not a loopback. So the last thing which is left is I have to create an additional prefix for this. Expand. Yes, this 2540/24 should be changed. Let me fix this real quick, the description wrong. Okay. And this is the loopbacks. For loopbacks. Whenever I go to that page and it doesn't save that I want this to be expanded, it makes me a little bit mad, just a little bit. Okay, so this pool for loopbacks. Now I have to create additional prefix. 172.16.254.0 8/30. Active BRF global role. No. Description SJSW1. Say interconnect between SJ switch 1 and SJ R1. This is a pool. Great. Done. Utilization 25%. Yeah, okay. Cool. So if I go back to my switch here, I have here an IP address. It says it's part of the pool. Primary active 2SJ-R1. And now let me go to R1, and I will do the same thing. And I want to see how that connection entity works. So let's see, add interfaces. Now here I should be a little bit more careful. We have gigabit 2 on CSR. So this will be, no, places. Gigabit 2, form factor gigabit, parent like none, description 2 SJ switch 1. Create. Done. Now I add an IP address 172.16.254.10/30. Active role, no. Make this primary IP. Done. Okay, so now we need to add a connection. It would be actually interesting if this would automatically connect the yeah, this would be very interesting. Like here, when I click on connect, that the system would let me add this to the side note here. Okay, on the connect screen, propose devices in the same subnet. You see what I'm saying? Like when I want to connect this port on one side and it's in the same subnet, you know, I get like basically all devices from the same subnet, and then like there is a list of devices and associated ports, so I can just click on the click on one of those and basically connect it like this, so I don't, you know, less manual work. This would be really cool. I have to take a look on this once I like go back from Cisco Live. Maybe it makes sense to like work on it. Let me see, maybe somebody already raised an issue. So NetBox automatic search of interfaces to connect based on subnet. No. Device IP allocation. Nobody raised an issue. Or maybe I just my Google Kung Fu is not that strong yet. That's fine. So here, let me put switch, search. I would expect something is broken here. You see, like I put here and like I expect that it automatically does the search, but it doesn't. Okay, let me do it manually then. San Jose, rack, device, switch 1, interface, gigabit 11. Done. Status connected. Connect. Okay, awesome. That's amazing. So Yep, before. So I think we already have something to work on in Python actually. So I have my switch one. Let me go back here. I have switch one where there are like a couple of interfaces. There is loopback, there is VLAN 10, there is a port, physical port where we are going to like assign to VLAN 10, and then there is L3 port which is connecting to R1, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I like it. Okay. So, what to do? So let me run my. Let me launch the Postman. Let's see. I will put it on different screen. Okay, just give me a second. I will pull it up here. So I pull it up here. Let me put now the correct port. So let me see the docs for this API. Okay, and this will be as part of IPAM. Let me see devices first though, in DSIM devices. Let's see how much information I get there. So I have a token here. So this all was saved from the last time. And I'm going to do get without anybody. Let's see. Okay. So I got some response. By the way, you guys are very silent today, very quiet. So here, switch one. Look at this. So there is switch one, device type, tenant side track, primary IP. For some reason this is duplicated. This is confusing. I think the primary IP is something different. Let me change this. Make this the primary IP for the device. Correct. So yeah, this doesn't make sense. I thought it's like primary and secondary IP, but it's not. So this would probably, I would assign this to the loopback, which would be a primary IP, but not to the individual ones. So like a loopback here, I would say this is a primary. So let me change this. Loopback, make this primary. Okay. Primary active loopback. Okay. Let me send this again. So switch one now has site. Okay, primary IP, primary IPv6. I don't see here the interfaces. Probably interface connections, interfaces. Let's try IP DSIM interfaces, and then we will have devices, device is equal to sj blah blah blah. Let me try this. Let me have to save this. Let's create a new collection. This will be NetBox. Save to NetBox. And let's change this. Let's say get devices. Let's now duplicate this. Duplicate. And now this will be get interfaces for the device. Let's try this. So this will be interfaces, and then I think like this, device is equal to sj switch 1. Let's try. Nice. This works from the first attempt. This is amazing. So let's see what that is. So there are some IDs of interfaces. ID like different. We don't care about ID itself. Those are global ones. We care about name. We care about this description, not so much, because we will be using interface connection to create a description. From interface connection we can take to which device we are going to, and then to each port on that device. So we can say to something something gigabit 2. From here I don't see here IP address, and I'm pretty sure I created it. So this will be another API call then. Is there some check that I can say give me an IP address for that as well? I don't see it. So unfortunately for the, and let's also see this get IPDSIM interface connections. No, this is strange. I would want to see this here as well as like related field. Not a big deal, but okay, let's see what IPAM for us will do. So IP addresses, okay. Based on interface ID. Okay, so let's try. So we have this gigabit 11, which has ID of 8. Let's say duplicate. Get IP address for the interface. I can tell you that will be a lot of API calls. Like I go through every device. This will be like, first I get a list of devices. Then I get an ID for the device or in the name of the device, and I get all interfaces for it. And then for every interface I go and I get IP address for interface. This is a lot of API calls. Like a lot, I think. But again, like, you know, I don't yeah, you know, don't consider it like I am blaming someone. No, I am just, you know, just like my first impression mostly. most likely if they did it that way, there was some reason to do it that way. My first intuition says I want to be able to pass some parameters to like get devices, to be able to see interfaces and assign IP addresses, so like I get everything. But it's, you know, it's all about like API design. Probably there were some trade-offs to do that as well. So let's see. Get IPAM IP addresses. And then I will have to say device, no, interface ID. Let's actually try this device ID first. Let's see what that will give us. Device ID. And where is it? I don't see it. Or wait, I can just put device, which will be a string. Okay, let's just put device. Device is equal to sj switch one. Okay. So I get an IP addresses here, all assigned IP addresses for the device. This interface, device, and ID of this is interesting. I think I can actually start it from here. Let's add here some notes. Get to IPAM IP addresses will give us a list of interfaces. Yeah, I think this may have more reason to do it that way. I can even see here interface connection directly from the /IPAM. Yeah, I think this makes the most sense. And then there will be some interfaces without IP address, like the one that is connecting to the hosts. So for those, I can do additional query for interfaces and see the interfaces that I didn't yet parse. Yeah, so I think this is a good place to start. Actually, yeah. So first I get all devices. Then for every device I run this, and now I am able to put like some configuration directly on the devices. Ideally, I want to add additional interface types. So instead of here having like label virtual, I want to have like something else. Yeah, I'm guys thinking like how I'm going to convert this to code right now. Like what will be my workflow, because in the end I want to, yeah, I'm going to generate the config with Jinja, and then I'm going to like use NetMiko to like put it there, at least for now. Like in the future I will try like RESTconf and all of that stuff. For today I just want to create a config template based on my IPAM. And I'm thinking like what would be designed for an application like this. Like, because I also don't want to go and make 100 API calls to do this. This would be very inefficient. This looks like a good starting place where I get all devices, I get a list of all devices, and then for every device I start creating this, and then for every device for interfaces where there are no IP addresses, I will also do this query, which is DSIM interfaces, so I can get some additional data there. Okay, let's start doing something useful and then you'll see in the code. So let's have another script. I will copy this one. Let's say configure, no, create config templates. Okay, I will need the sites. Actually, let me also see if this NetBox IP token will work. I don't think it will. Okay, so I need to get a new token somewhere. NetBox Docker here. So let's say export NetBox IP token will be the token. So now I can echo it. It works. So now our API calls will work as well. I don't think I will need sites, but let's leave it. Form headers, let's leave it. Add site, these functions, I don't need them anymore. Let's say IP addresses endpoint will be IPAM the addresses. That's pretty much it. No. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm thinking if Jinja would be a good fit actually, because maybe it will not be. And I already see like how we could benefit from the OOP model. Let me think for a second. Again, I'm thinking like, is OP right now worth it, or this will be like too much? And the last time I had the same, in my previous project, the last time I had the same choice, I was like, right now it seems doesn't matter too much, but I will go with the OP. And then it occurred like 1 hour later that if I didn't do OP, that would be disaster. So maybe it makes sense to like spend additional time on OP right now. Or maybe not. I don't have an answer to it yet actually. Because we will be generating config templates. Can we do it with the functions? We can. Okay, I think for now let me just start doing stuff and we'll see if we have problems with is doing it in functional style. We'll switch to OP. It's not really like end of the world. Everything can be done. And let me have a function here, let's say this function will be create device config. I can tell for sure that if we don't go OOP, then using Jinja does not make any sense here. Because if you want to have beautiful, like this, variables in Jinja, you would need to have a proper objects with proper attributes and stuff like that. Okay, so for now let's just not do Jinja, we will just try to create something so I'm not like stuck on the same point for forever. So let's have like this, so I have device, what will be the input parameter for this? Name of device, okay. Okay. Let's say we'll have result. And this will be just the result, we will be adding like bunch of strings at the end. So let's start with like first we have to get say get IP addresses NetBox ticket. Let's put it that way. So this will be requests dot get NetBox IP root plus NetBox IP addresses endpoint, and in the main function we are going to use print create device config for SJ switch 1. Okay, so I'm doing get and I need to put query parameters, query IP, say query parameters will be device is equal to name. Okay, and then let me see Python requests query parameters. I forgot what is the argument name. I think it's query equal to, or params for a query string in the URL. Okay. So let's say query params. Let's have it like this. Okay. So now I put here query params, and I will need to form headers as well. Headers will be form headers, query params. So params is equal to query params, and headers is equal to headers. And we have to print this, and I want to print it in a human way, so we'll use JSON library which does printing for me. This will be, say, return JSON dump as IP address NetBox ticked intent for. Okay. So let's see if this works. Oh, what did I do? Let's see if this works. So I need to go back here, and I need to use my virtual environment, virtual env how did I call it? Network programmability. Oh, NetBox. Being activate. Okay. So if I did everything all right, if I run this Python 3 create config templates, I need to go to the directory scripts. Okay, Python 3 create config templates. Didn't work. Missing schema, no schema supplied, perhaps meant. What did I do? Oh, oops. Object response is not serial. What? Like this. JSON. Yeah, cool. So I just added here .json to the requests, and now I'm getting the same thing I got in the Postman. Okay, so from this I can get an IP address, I can get an interface. I have some description. I also want to know the type of the device. Like if it's switch or router, because if it's switch I need to do like node shutdown and stuff like that. Let me go back to /devices, I think, here. So I will need the name of manufacturer here, and then I will need where is the switch? I don't see the switch here. And it doesn't say anywhere that this is like switch. maybe like this parameter. I think in the end I will have to go and create a OOP model for this. Otherwise it will be a lot of mess with passing dictionaries and all that stuff. It will not be fun. But for now, as I told you, let's just do it this way, see how far we can get. I will need to get this manufacturer, I need to get device role, and this is from API DCIM/devices. Yeah, I'm sorry for that I'm slow here. I'm just trying to think ahead. My thoughts are, imagine like you have this multi-vendor network, and at some point we will have, right? So you want to create these like templates and so on from your IPAM, which is your source of truth, right? So you want to start configuring like interfaces and stuff like that. And so the problem is, well, not problem, but approach would be you want to parse all of the IPAM data and put it in the model. So you want to create classes, you want to create topology, you want to create interfaces. The very same stuff I did for the GNS3 project, for if2 GNS3 converter. So you put it in like this level of abstraction, and then you have a mapping of these abstractions to vendor specific stuff. So let's say you know that okay, if you have an entity interface and it's of the type VLAN, it has like a name and something and so on. Hook 420, thanks very much for following. Basically, if you have this in object model, you can now say, okay, this port is access, this port is trunk, this port is L3 port, and then you have a templates for every like kind of command. So you have like, okay, if this is Cisco iOS, then the command for this would be switchport mod access. If this is something else, then the command is like, I don't know, config set something, right? I'm not very proficient with other vendors. But by doing this, what you are actually doing, you are rewriting the napalm, I guess. So if you do this, right, you're creating a model of your network, which is very similar what napalm does, where you have these objects and then you create a configs which represent as like state of the network and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to think is that does it even make any sense to start doing that, or it actually makes sense, let's like don't do it on our own, let's not reinvent the wheel, and let's actually use napalm to do this, right? So I'm actually thinking that creating like some very basic stuff like napalm did would be beneficial for this project. So you kind of like see this like thinking process and how like Napalm got to the point where they got. I mean, they're doing much more than this, right? The idea behind Napalm, and for those of you who like have never heard of this, let me just show you Napalm network. It's Napalm automation. So yeah, this is a project where they basically want to have some kind of abstraction around different vendors. And they even go as far as connecting to the devices and configuring it and, you know, like stuff like that. So an interesting project. I actually have never tried them, but I want to try them as part of this tried it as part of the stream at some point. For now though, I'm thinking that it would be really interesting to create something similar, but you know, on on lower scale. So like creating like devices and interfaces, blah blah blah, for the model, and then implement support for a couple of vendors. So let's say like, I don't know, Cisco Juniper, for example, right? Do it, see that it works, and then say, okay, but you didn't have to do it all the way, you can use Napalm for it, right? Maybe this would be an interesting approach. Okay, so for now though, I'm thinking we can even not go to this abstraction yet. So let's just use what we have here. So I got the NetBox dict. Let me get the device NetBox dict first. So I'm going to do similar stuff. Request IP root params, no. Device NetBox root, NetBox IP root, and then devices endpoint. Oh, actually the query parameters will be the same. Okay. Params will be query params, and as a result we will get something similar to this. And I wanted to understand if this is like Cisco, and in this case all of those will be Cisco, so you'll have like some kind of branching saying like here that if let me also do the same thing. Let's say if I say SJ switch 1, not sure this will work though. Okay, device is equal to this didn't work actually. It returned 200. Okay, this does not make sense to me. Why does it return to me devices like this? Okay, this works. So here the query params will be name. So let's do this. Here the query params will be name, TC manufacturers. Okay, and I want to get the device type manufacturer results manufacturer which will be Cisco, and then the type of the device. Okay, so here we'll say if device NetBox dict results results 0 and then device type, manufacturer. No, I need to do something better. So let's say manufacturer will be this thing. Device type, manufacturer name. And then like device model will be very similar thing, which will be device type model. Okay. Like this. So now I can say if manufacturer is if let's say if manufacturer dot lower is equal to Cisco, and device, and let's say L2 in device model, let's say print this is Cisco switch. Okay. Let's see if this works. I'm printing the end result, but I don't need it right now, so I'm going to comment this. So let's see, does this work? Yeah, except let me print manufacturer and device model. Cisco is, oh, okay. If I do here lower, this should work. This is a Cisco switch. Okay. Okay. So now here I'm going to go through every interface there, and you'll have some logic. So let's say for interface in IP address NetBox dict. And let's see, oh, this will be results. Ideally I will have to check for like next and previous, but for now I don't need this because NetBox uses pagination. So like if there are like 200 interfaces, it will return I don't know how many, 50 or 25, and then this next pointer will point to the next URL. For now we don't need it, we don't have that scale yet, but for production ready we will have to take that into account. Oh, and by the way, the NetBox, as far as I recall, they have API for, they have support for Napalm, that basically, you know, Napalm will generate configs on their own. You don't actually have to write a lot of Python code. So for interfaces in this dict, we will say say for interface dict, let's say interface name will be first. So interface name will be interface dict dot get no, just do it like this. Name, no, this will be interface name. So let's print this interface name. Let's run this code. Run create templates. NetBox API token. Alright. Let's run it from CLI actually. Okay, so now I can print the interfaces. And let's now do some logic. Let's say for now I will comment this out. The manufacturer for interface dict in IP address NetBox dict. Interface name is this. So we have a couple of interface names: VLAN 10, gigabit 11, and loopback 0. I'm curious about gigabit 11 because this is the only interface we will have to say no switchport. Hold on. Let's do this. Say result.append and we will append a string which will be like this. Okay, so here I'm saying that this will be a placeholder for interface name, this will be new line, this will be a content, and this will be this is not needed actually, like this. So interface name and content for interface. So this part will be similar. And here the only thing I have to check is if the manufacturer is Cisco actually. So let me copy this because I will still need to determine if that is a switch. Okay. Let's also add something else to the result. We'll add a line for the host name. Let's say result dot append host name will be, and I'm using Python 3 3.6. So no, for this project, did I ever use Python 3.6 features here in this code? Let me see. Oh, I did. Awesome. So then I will use it everywhere. So this will be f name. Like this, and then at the very end result will be I need to join those by new line, join, and then join result. Okay. And now I can print it here. So let's see. So I have to append interface name and interface config. So for now, let's say the interface config will be list will be empty stuff, and at the very end this will be interface config list. I'm going to config will be, I'm also joining it by new lines. You'll see what I'm doing in just a second. Interface config list. Okay. Let's say also additional stuff here. We'll say if L2 is in device model lower, then device type is switch. Else device type is a router. So, okay, I don't need this anymore. Okay. So I am getting the interface name. Now I need to get an IP address for this. And I also need to convert the IP address from slash notation to decimal. Okay. Let me see Python 3 IP address library. IP address here. Address. Network. Here, prefix, net mask, host mask. There are several equivalent ways to specify network object. In addition, host mask. Let's try to explore this in CLI. So if I say IPython, let's just say Python, and we say what? We say import IP address, and then A will be IPv4 address 192.168.0.1/24. Right, IP address, IPv4 address, an expected slash. Okay, so I need to specify this as network, as host bit set. Maybe strict false. What is interface? Oh, oh, here. IPv4 interface. This is what I need. Interface. Oh, okay. Mask. Let's see what we have here. Let's try different methods. Let's see what they do. This NetMask. Okay, this seems to be what we want, except that I want to have it separate. So let's say a.mask or NetMask. What if I do print of this? Okay. So str of a NetMask is what I want, and then a print a. I want to have only an IP address. Let's see what we have. Just IP a.ip print a.ip. Awesome. So a.ip and a.netmask. Amazing. Let's see on our Postman output. No, on our CLI output actually here. So I get this address and I put it as interface object from the IP address library. So let's import this. I'll say from the address import IPv4 interface. So okay, this is what I need, and now interface config list, we need to add something here. Let's say interface config list, I'm going to append an IP address, which will be f string. Oh, here I actually did a mistake. F, it is, okay. And F here. Okay, host name F. Okay, this will be IP address, and I say IP address will be IPv4 interface from address, and I can now say IP address dot IP and IP address dot mask. Allegedly this should work. Let's see. Let me quit this. Okay, I broke the script. Type object is not subscriptable. Ooh. Let me print interface ticket to see. ID family address. Oh, right? Obviously this will be dictionary, so we need to refer to it properly. That's cool. So I also will add a space here. Isn't this amazing? I think this is pretty amazing. Before we do that, we will need to add additional stuff. So I want to check if this is a switch and it's not a virtual interface. I want to add no. I want to add no switchport to it. So, and this will be on the very top, actually. So before doing this, I also don't need this anymore. Interface name is needed. I have to say if this is not a virtual, let me check the output in the Postman, I think. Here. So we have form factor virtual. If this interface form factor is not virtual, if interface dict interface form factor label is not virtual, and this is if device type is equal to switch, then I'm going to add interface config list append no switch port. Oh, and let's also see for the loopback. Does it say virtual? Okay, it also says virtual. Okay. So I'm going to add no switch port, and then at the very end I can say if the device is enabled true, then I also will add no shutdown. So if interface dict and then interface enabled, then result interface config. Oh, sorry, small mistake here. Interface config list. I'm going to append no shutdown. Let's run this again. Nice. I think this is really cool. So, okay, this part is done. Oh no, we still need to add descriptions, and this may be a little bit tricky. I want to add connections depending on if I'm connected to some device or no. If not, then I will pull whatever it is from the description. So let me see for that. For this one, there is interface connection. If this object exists, then I'm going to say that I'm connected to this and this router. Okay, so let's say this will be also on the very top. If say connected, let's say, or let's do interface connection will be interface dict dot get no, this will be interface dot get, and get, again, remember that if basically get allows us not to raise an exception. So if the object doesn't is not in the dictionaries, and this will return none. So this is what I want. I want to say interface connection. If interface connection is not known, then description will be the following. Description will be 2. This will be f string, and I have to say I need to say device name and interface name. Okay, so 2, and this will be interface connection and interface. No, let's do this. A remote interface will be interface connection.interface, and then here I'm saying remote interface let's say device device name and then port, let's say port, say interface, and this will be just remote interface name. Okay, awesome. Otherwise, else description will be whatever is in this field. Description interface dict dot description. Interface dict and then description will be the key, and okay. And now I can say interface config list append f string description space description. Okay, so let's run our script again. Okay, this loopback has no description, and here you see it says description to SJR1 interface. I think I can delete word interface, it seems redundant there. Description to blah 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 SJR1 gigabit 2. So we actually pull this info from IPAM system and put it in configuration. I think this is pretty cool. Here we also have no switchport. Okay, awesome. There is one thing that I want to do before I wrap this up, even though we are already past 2 hours 30 minutes. So I think this is already good enough. But we still have that interface, which is sub-interface. And this is where some additional things should be done. So we also need to get those. And those were DSIM interfaces from here. And I want to get an interfaces which contain which are enabled, which contain dot, let's say here. Well, let's say they have description access, I don't know yet. They have this dot, and this will be our VLAN number. To do this, we will need to add additional thing. We will need to say interface NetBox dict will be a very similar request. Let's say, but this will be interfaces. And then I say for interface dict in interfaces NetBox dict, let's say device interfaces NetBox dict. If let's say description will be just this dictionary interface dict dot description. If access in description dot lower, then I want to get, say also interface name will be interface dict dot name. and then we will have to parse it with regular expression. So let's add the regular expression here, which will be let's say L2 interface name area will be the area.compile or this will be we will be matching two parts of this dictionary. This will be number on the right, there will be some text on the left, and I will need to import the library for regular expressions. And let's make this as a named group, and let me recall how named group are defined. Python named group. Named group. Okay. Question mark p equal. Yeah, question mark p equal. Okay. So question mark p equal. Group name expected. Oh, right. This is the syntax. Not equal actually. Like this. So this will be interface name, and this will be VLAN number. So I can now parse this, the whole thing, and then there was a function I thought group dict, area.match, and then group dict. So if access in description, I'm going to say this match dict will be L2 interface name area dot search dot match, then interface name group dict, then interface name will be match dict. Let's do the font. No, I don't. Let's do a little bit different. This will be interface name will be match group, and then it will be interface name. And VLAN number will be match group VLAN number. And let's say I'm going to print interface name and VLAN number for now. Let's run our code. List index out of range. Ooh. Something is not right. Oh, this one. List index out of range. Where did I get this? Line 58. Oops. What? It's line 58 it crashes. So I did something and now I don't see it. Haha. So sad results here. And I will need to print this device NetBox dict. Oops, something is not right. And before it was working fine, now just out of range. Did my container crash? No, it shouldn't be. I don't see the problem. Create device config name. I put a name here as query params. And previously it was working fine. What happened now? This returns an empty dictionary. Wow. Let's see. This still works. Results and then the first result. Oh, okay. And here interfaces. Try again. Okay, so now I am able to get the interface name and VLAN number. It's exactly what I needed. So let me get rid of that. Get rid of oh, and here I should be a little bit careful. So I have to form a good description for this. So there will be a very similar idea like we had before. So interface config list. And this part. Then this will be like this. If the interface is enabled, then no shutdown. Now I have to say, basically I have to say two things. I have to say interface config list append switchport mode access, and then switchport access VLAN and then VLAN number. This will be VLAN number. F-string. And then I put everything together. I put everything together here and then I join C. Right. Boom. Nice. Isn't this cool? I think that's pretty cool actually. So I formed that here I am connecting to SJR1 gigabit 2. Automagically from IPAM. Here I am picking the VLAN number. Remember that in 2.3 NetBox A you want to add this functionality native, so I will not need to do this, the stuff that I have interface name ending with dot. But for now, this looks, I think this is pretty cool. So let me do this. I'm going to go to VLAN 10 now and change this description in IPAM. And so switch one. Interface VLAN 10. Oh, I also have to create the VLAN interfaces. Let's actually do this and then we'll wrap this up. So also, if this is a switch, I have to create the interfaces themselves. So like if this is a VLAN, maybe there will be a function. Let's say create def create VLAN and then name, say VLAN number, and then VLAN name is none, and then description can be also none. And then this will be very similar stuff. You'll have content is equal to list. Now we will say, no, let's say config lines, and then I'm going to say if VLAN name is not known, then config lines then I also need to say vendor. Vendor by default this will be this guy. If VLAN number is known, let's say this, if vendor is Cisco, if VLAN number is known, config glides dot append, and have to append description. We will do this f string again. Description. No, didn't do it right. If VLAN name is not known. If VLAN name is not known, then I'm appending name is equal to VLAN name. VLAN name, and then I'm saying if description is not known, I'm appending description. Cool. So, and then I wrap everything config content VLAN config content. I have to join this by new lines, join config lines, and now result will be interface, no, VLAN and then VLAN name, VLAN name, F VLAN name, new line, then VLAN config content. This should be all part of the whole thing. Result if VLAN, VLAN name, VLAN config content, and then new line and exclamation mark, and then I'm returning the result. Return result. Okay, so now if I am creating an SVI, and if it says that it's a VLAN, I'm looking the good place to do it. We also need additional variable, VLAN I'm looking where should I do it. Basically here is the interface name is something. So if VLAN in or no, maybe I actually go to this one. For interface dict, if device interfaces NetBox dict. Ideally, I would go here. Yeah, let me see what is API for the VLANs. NetBox VLAN VLANs endpoint. I think it will be IPAM VLANs. IPAM VLANs. Let's see what we are going to get. So let's duplicate this one. This will be get VLANs. This will be IPAM VLANs. And I'm getting a list of VLANs. I have description. Here I have VID and I have a name. Okay. So whenever I am encountering a VLAN on the, let's say, description here, I want to create it in this part where there was a dot in the if access in the description here. Yeah. So let's add another variable. This will be VLAN config, and basically if there is a VLAN number, I need to get, by the way, a list of this VLAN somehow. I need to specify VLANs by VID. Okay, so I need a new query parameters. I can offload all of this in this create VLAN function actually. Create VLAN. I will need a vendor, and I'm going to say I also will need a VLAN number. So now I actually can do a request to their API, where I will say VLANs NetBox ticked will be request.get. I will need headers. Headers is equal to form headers, and then query params will be VID is, and VID should be an integer, so this will be integer from VLAN number. And now I can say request.get on NetBox IP root plus NetBox VLAN endpoint, where headers is equal to headers, headers is equal to headers, and then query params is params is equal to query params. Awesome. So then name of the VLAN will be JSON and then results. Name of the VLAN will be, let's try this, VLAN VID is equal to 10. We will need results VID. No, results name will be VLAN NetBox ticked that name, and then description will be VLAN NetBox ticked description, and then I don't really need this check anymore. So VLAN name. Awesome. So I also don't need these two parameters as well, but I will keep vendor, and vendor will be actually the second parameter. Vendor Cisco. Okay. So whenever I encounter dot in the name and it says here access, I'm going to add the config for this VLAN. So let's say VLAN config will be append create VLAN VLAN number this will be VLAN number and then manufacturer. So for every VLAN that I encounter, I'm going to add this to VLAN config, and then the very end VLANs config list. I need to say here VLANs config will be, we have to join those VLAN config list, and then I have to insert it in proper place. I have to say result dot insert, and I'm going to insert it right after the host name. And let me see, I don't recall the syntax. Python a is equal a dot append, let's say blue orange, and then a dot insert. I think it will be like this. Let's say black 1. No, it's vice versa. It's 1 black. Yeah. So 1.VLANs config, and then I join everything together and I return it. Let's try this. VLAN config not defined. Right, because it's VLANs config list. Local variable result is referenced before assignment. What? The result is referenced before assignment. Let's say over. Nice. So I have a host name. I am creating a. Oh, this is a mistake. Haha. Okay. Let me quickly fix that. It starts with VLAN number. Okay, now, so I create VLAN 10. I get the name from API. I get the description from API. Now I'm creating all interfaces. And that's pretty much it. I think this is pretty cool. There are a couple things that I hate about the whole code that I wrote. There are a lot of if statements, and if you add more vendors, there will be even more. So I think like the proper so ideally you would need like a folder for like specific vendor where you have like specific key, let's say IP address config line, and you have the same thing for every vendor. So let's say you have folder Cisco iOS, and you have let's say you may have like one file, for example, but then the file, yeah, probably you can have like one file, let's say Cisco, and in folder Cisco there is file Cisco IS. And in this file you will have a mapping either in YAML, probably in YAML, it's much more beautiful, where you say some kind of key, let's say IP address config line is mapped to IP space address space, and then in parentheses you have like IP, and then you have mask, decimal mask for example, and then you have the same stuff for other vendors. And then depending on the vendor and on the like platform in your code, you would, instead of putting this hard coding this into your code, you would reference that, and it should go to the file, take the appropriate line and like put it. And in that way you have like this adjustable backends, like, you know, different backends for different vendors. This would be pretty cool. That's why I hate, well, not that I hate, I like dislike what this kind of thingy. So for different vendor I would have to create different stuff. This will be very painful. Ideally you want to have your model as like probably as OOP model, where you have an object and you have parameters like hostname, like, you know, stuff like that. Then you have a function, let's say create config for interfaces or create routing protocol config, which does some additional magic on the backend. And what it does, it looks all of those methods, takes the vendor, get appropriate folder, get that config line, and automatically pass it. So this would be a beautiful solution, and I think this is how Napalm does it. I didn't look at their code. So yeah, I think this we will wrap up for today. We created some prefixes in the NetBox. We created different prefixes, VLANs, connections as well. And then we went to Python basically and queried these different APIs that they have to make a configuration. And I think we reached some good result here. So I can do now the same thing for switch 2 and for router and so on, and I would expect that this will work. Probably there are some mistakes. I think very cool part here is in the description, where I'm getting the connection that I'm connected to R1 programmatically, and then I'm putting this dynamic description. So if I go ahead and change this connection in the NetBox, which is supposed to be our source of truth, then I can the script will regenerate the config automatically. I think this is pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm not yet sure what we are going to do next time. And remember that the next time will be our usual Sunday stuff will be 3 weeks from now, because I will spend 2 weeks in Barcelona. But as I told you before, make sure that you follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, and if everything will work out, we will have some kind of special during Cisco Live. But for now, thank you very much for attending the stream today, and see you next time. Bye.